Good afternoon and welcome to the Black Consciousness Festival and our actual celebration of Black Consciousness Day today. We join with our brothers and sisters, our friends, our family across in Brazil as we commemorate this great day. We remember Zumbi as we move forward. And this conversation is going to be a very interesting one because we have two young artists joining us from Brazil who are going to share with us. The lead for this conversation today is Heather McIntosh Simon, who is a woman of many talents, but is most well known in the fields of education and performance. Heather studied foreign languages at the Catholic University of Goiás in Brazil, from where she graduated in 2004. She has since gone on to complete a master's degree in the teaching of Portuguese as a foreign language. Heather has been a successful performer of the Calypso art form for the past 33 years. During her career, she has won several titles, including the National Junior Calypso Monarch of Trinidad and Tobago in 1995, and the National Calypso Queen of Trinidad and Tobago in 2002 and 2011. Heather participates in Calypso events in Trinidad and abroad and lectures in Portuguese and Brazilian studies at the Department of Modern Languages and Linguistics at the University of the West Indies at the St. Augustine campus here in Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you and welcome, Heather.
Muito obrigado pelas suas palavras, Dona Érica, e sejam bem-vindos. Salve, Brasil! Feliz Dia da Consciência Negra! Bom ver os senhores aqui. Obrigado por terem entrado aqui na nossa Zoom e também na nossa plataforma do Facebook para compartilhar esse dia, ou pelo menos parte desse dia com a gente. A gente está aqui com uma conversa, um seriado de 20 conversas sobre a consciência negra, o que é ser negro nessa parte da diáspora. E eu tenho comigo, para conversar e para poder comemorar esse dia, artistas brasileiras, jovens artistas brasileiras, que vão falar com a gente como que eles usam a arte como uma plataforma para poder aumentar e melhorar a consciência negra aqui no Brasil, né? Então, meu primeiro amigo que eu preciso apresentar é meu amigo com nome afrancesado, né? Eu tenho gente negra no meio do Brasil com nome francês. Edwyn, boa tarde. Como vai o senhor?
Você sempre me faz isso.
You always make me laugh. Good afternoon. I'm doing good.
Como que você está comemorando esse dia hoje? O que significa esse dia 20 de novembro para você em Sergipe?
É sempre uma data.
It's always a date that it's not really fast. It is festive to celebrate our existence, but we always remember that it's important to fight in various ways. So they've tried to eliminate this in various ways, and we have to keep focus. So, for example, today I received news that a black man was beaten to death here in Brazil in a supermarket. Every day, these things happens. Every 20th of November, it, this is the meaning it carries. It's a date that is a day to be celebrated, but it's also a day to reflect on who we are and what we have to do.
Então, vamos partir daí, né? Quem é Edwyn? Quem é você? O que é que você faz? Entendeu? Por que é importante eu passar uma hora conversando contigo? Você é importante por quê?
Who's Edwyn? Why are you
Firstly,
important? What do you do?
So explaining myself is who I am is something hard. I'm not Sure.
Edwyn nasceu em 1997.
I was born in 97, born of two black parents,
E
uh,
minha
w-
avó
of
tem em
a
sua
darker
família
skinned dad and a mom who
racial de
has
origem
indigenous
também um
uh,
estrangeiro do Brasil.
phenotypes
É,
that is also stayed here in Brazil.
é sempre difícil. Mas assim, estou me formando agora em
I
2021,
am
provavelmente,
graduating
em
here
Ciências da
in
História.
2021
Com
in
isso,
history,
produzindo telas, pintura,
and since
fotografia,
then I've been producing
escrita
artwork
de forma
in a
desde
professional
a
manner.
infância. Eu venho desenvolvendo isso sozinho, nunca tive aula.
So I've been developing these skills in art on by myself. I've never had
Da minha adolescência
any teachings coming from
mais
for
buscando
artwork.
a
And
identidade negra,
starting
a minha
in my
cultura,
adolescence,
e
there was the
recebendo
period
até
that I started
informações,
to search
porque
for my origins, for my for
é que se a gente não
for
luta,
the
se a
black
gente não
inside me.
comemora, se a gente
So
é, é deixado para trás, né? A gente é esquecido.
and if we don't commemorate this day, we don't celebrate this day,
Desde
we are left
da
behind. And
e aí,
throughout this
se a gente
process
mantém
of
nossa identidade,
colonization,
nossa
if we don't maintain
né?
our
Quem vai
identity or
fazer
history,
vai
no one will do that for us. No one
contar essa história.
will tell that
É
story for us.
impressionante para mim a
It's
sua fala
amazing for me.
sobre o
Um,
sofrimento que
your
tem
talk,
também
your speech
passado
about
o
the
povo
suffering
negro no Brasil,
that the
né?
black people have suffered in
Olha,
Brazil.
aqui a parada do nosso
Ah, look,
convidado. Boa tarde,
our other
Bruno.
friend
Tudo
is here.
bem?
Bruno is here.
Boa tarde, Bruno.
Uh,
Aí,
good afternoon.
a minha pergunta, Eduardo, seria como que é num país como o Brasil, que tem tanta gente da cor da pele negra, entendeu? Como que é que a gente ainda tem tantos problemas de raça, tantos problemas de dificuldades religiosas, sabe? Num país que é majoritana negra. Como que é
Sim.
possível uma coisa dessa?
A gente, assim, eu consigo,
So,
né? Eu faço história, como eu falei, e a
like
gente
I do his, I study history as I said
tem um
before,
foco, né, na parte
and
da
my
história,
focus
é uma parte
in my
da
research
pós-abolição,
is
entender
the slavery time and post-abolition.
de uma
Uh,
situação
so
forjada, né?
this is all of
Uma situação
comes from
forjada, assim,
a forged abolition. It was forged in the
ilusória,
sense that it was an
porque todos
illusion,
os problemas, né,
because all the
da
problems
do período colonial, do
from the
período
colonial
imperial
time,
no
from the
Brasil,
imperial time in
né,
Brazil,
com a República, todos os problemas
and the
que
time of the Republic
continuamos,
even
né? O acesso à
persisted.
educação,
The access to
a
education,
aqui no
uh,
Brasil é um local
basic
que ainda não tem
sanitation structure.
saneamento básico, né? Então,
We don't have basic
assim,
sanitation infrastructure
voltando à pergunta
in.
que você fez,
And coming back to the question you asked, how this is
realmente
still
a gente
possible,
estamos
it's absurd that
132 anos
we
de
have gone
abolição
through
e
132
a gente
years
ainda
post-abolition,
age
and we
racismo,
still have to see these acts of
várias
racism
formas de
in many
apagamento da
ways,
nossa fé, da
and in
cultura,
many
não
ways,
só entre
they
pessoas,
find many ways
mas
to
também
destroy our faith, our way of
a
living,
própria estrutura mesmo, o próprio
and
Estado, né?
the structure itself, the
O
state
próprio
itself,
Estado, de
limits
forma burocrática, né?
uh,
Acaba limitando o acesso a
limits access
benefícios, a
to
valores,
benefits
porque
to our
as pessoas
population,
negras, em sua maioria, não têm
because
condições.
black people in their
Bruno,
majority don't have access to this.
deixar entrar agora na conversa, né? Eu estava conversando com o Edwyn e ele estava. Eu perguntei para ele, eu pedi para ele explicar por que esse dia de 20 de novembro tem significância para ele. Talvez você possa iniciar a sua fala falando para a gente se esse dia é importante para ti e por quê. Qual o significado do dia 20 de novembro para você?
Saudações a todas as pessoas, obrigado. Primeiro que tem uma importância no sentido de demarcar um lugar no calendário. E demarcar num lugar do calendário é uma ação de potência em que a gente possa conseguir travar outras conquistas, né? Então, se existe o racismo estrutural, que ele se dá de forma histórica, cultural, econômica, e que vai implicar na educação, no sistema educacional nacional, né? Demarcar o 20 de novembro é um marco no calendário. Isso já é um ponto importante para a gente enfrentar outras conquistas ou reivindicar outras questões. Então, para mim, ele se faz importante nesse sentido. Mas não podemos deixar de pensar a folclorização do 20 de novembro quando reduz a nós negros apenas esse dia para falar de quem somos, porque somos todos os dias, a partir do momento que nascemos. E aí tem uma frase que eu vi na internet, eu não sei quem é o autor, mas hoje a gente já não está mais no Dia da Consciência Negra, a gente está no Dia da Paciência Negra. Porque somos muito pacientes.
Because we're very patient in our way of treating.
Very important. It's a point of fight.
É interessante que você falou
That you said that because that this day of celebration. But the problem is that what normally happens.
O pensamento só revolva a data.
Yeah, the thinking only stays around that date, not around the whole year. For example, with the Women's Day, we celebrate that day, but in the rest of the year, we don't hear them. And I guess that's also what happens with
nesse dia a gente celebra e tem toda essa
people
foco no
and
negro
everything, but
para os outros 300
on the other, the rest of the year, no one is taking care of us. No one is mind of what you do.
Homem negro sendo espancado
Yeah,
justamente
they was news that a black girl was actually that.
o significado do dia, que o dia é só
Do you think people there have learned the significance of the day? Is that do people understand that it needs to be remembered the whole year, not just November?
Pelo Brasil inteiro.
Is the importance of black people actually growing in Brazil? Edwyn, would you like to start?
Can Bruno answer first?
Tá, pode ser.
Então eu posso responder. Não, eu posso responder. Então.
I can answer first.
I can talk.
Mas eu tenho que lembrar vocês, a gente está
I need to
falando um pouco
remind
rápido,
you
temos nossos dois amigos intérpretes.
that we are talking really fast and we have our interpreters here. So sometimes let's take a break so they can follow us.
Olha, se a
Look,
gente entende
if we
o
understand
racismo estrutural
that
como controle de corpos
structural
negros para se manter
racism
no poder,
as trying to control people, to try
a
to
dominação, né, do capitalismo,
the way capitalism dominates
isso é histórico,
that's
econômico,
historical, that's economical,
social,
that's social.
desde uma propaganda de TV a uma
From
embalagem de
TV
produto no
advert,
supermercado, o racismo
from
já está implicado.
a label in a supermarket product, everything is already in place.
Então, nesse sentido,
And in this sense,
tudo que a gente faça, a gente
everything
já
that we do,
parte
everything that we
da
can do,
desigualdade.
we
A gente
already
já está
start from a
desigual.
place of inequality. Let's
Estruturalmente,
start
já
from
está
a
desigual.
place of
O que
inequality.
eu acho é que
Structure
os movimentos
already,
negros no Brasil
not
e no
equal.
mundo, né? Mas eu vou falar do Brasil, os
Couple
movimentos
of
negros
black people,
instauraram enfrentamentos importantes.
but we're going to focus on
Então,
Brazil.
para que hoje
Sorry.
tenhamos ações afirmativas,
So
para que hoje
today we have
eu, como jovem professor
so that
substituto
today
da Universidade Federal da
me
Bahia,
as a
isso são lutas
substitute teacher
de
in the
movimentos negros.
in Bahia, those are movements of
That's
black.
true.
Logo, a gente pode perceber
You
que
can actually see
o
that
racismo ele não acaba com a entrada de 3 professores negros numa estrutura de
and just
34
because
professores brancos.
3 black
Os
just
dois
came to
assassinos
university
do
and
menino que foi
4
assassinado no
white people,
supermercado hoje, ontem, no
the
Porto
killers
Alegre,
of
é
the
porque a justiça,
of the man that
o
was
Estado de
killed,
Direito, rege o Estado,
that was beaten to death
que
by the
rege os nossos corpos.
it's
O
something that
direito pressupõe a igualdade, mas de
how the
partida,
state
novamente, não somos iguais.
but you can
E
see
quem
that
é que domina a justiça? O poder judiciário, que é
who dominates the
racista. Então,
judicial
nesse
system
sentido,
quite
o
racist.
avanço para
So in
entender a
this
cultura
sense,
negra, a gente, de certa forma, já entende. Somos
try
negros.
to understand
Ainda que não reconheçamos, as pessoas negras não reconheçam o racismo, elas sabem
even
que
though
existe
black
e
people
camuflam,
don't actually recognize racism.
né?
They
A
know
gente
that
sabe que tem um
it exists.
poder da alienação
There is
consentida,
the power of
como que domina
alienation.
os nossos corpos. Mas
Humans are,
se tem
there is
entendimento
an
de que
understanding
vamos continuar
that we
dominando,
continue
dizer para os negros,
dominating.
não se reconheçam negros, mas se reconheçam
Let's trying to make
pessoas
people
humanas, porque todos nós somos iguais.
free or recognize, not recognize themselves as
Zumbi
black
não
people.
existe.
Try to
Eu sou
recognize
igual a
them as
todos.
part of everyone, and trying to say
E
that
aí, o que é que acontece?
didn't
É
exist.
uma forma
I
de
am
esvaziar
the same as
as
everyone.
datas.
It's a
Não
way
é para
of
comemorar. As datas não
emptying
são para comemorar.
the dates
A
that are
data é
not
para
to be.
reconhecimento
You guys need to understand
de
that this day, a date like today,
que
it's
diz,
not to be
olha,
celebrated. It's
hoje a
to
gente
be
pode falar do
recognized.
racismo
Today, it's to
de
say that
forma
today we can
direta.
talk about racism in a direct way.
Porque quem é que domina
Because
a
who
sociedade
dominates
politicamente
the society,
pelo racismo?
a society that's
Não somos
completely dominated and structurally
Então, o fato
racism?
de reconhecer
Who dominates
ou
that?
não
It's not
reconhecer,
us.
de valorizar
So
ou não
the
valorizar,
fact of
perpassa
recognizing or not
porque
recognizing
quem tem
doesn't
que
come from
entender
black people,
que são
because
brancas,
who needs to
pessoas
understand
que nos
that they're white
escravizaram.
are the white people who
Se a gente
actually
chegar
put
talvez em alguns
race
países
in
da
question.
África,
So
ou
if you
outros
go
países
to
da
some
Ásia,
African
que sua maioria
countries
negra
or
a
other
gente
countries that
tem
have
essa
a
perspectiva, a gente
majority
não vai ser
of
considerado
black
negro.
people,
A
of
gente vai ser
people,
considerado pessoas.
a government that is completely black, we are not going to be considered black people. We're going to be considered people. But in Brazil, in the United States, we are black people. We're told we're black people. I learned how to be a black person as soon as I was born. So this place of the 20th of November, the day of the black consciousness, it's a day to say we take responsibility of this point, of this date, but at the same time, we keep on fighting. We keep on trying to get more and more space, because we started from a place of inequality. But how many years in history have we seen how many people how many times has this happened in history that black people have actually been recognized? There's an action here, there's a movement here, an urgent movement, because we are here.
Can I speak? Bruno was perfect in what he said, and it's very emotional to be here with you guys this moment. And adding to it, when we stop and think that there are events that instead of being worried about the dialogue with black people and people of who are not black talking about this day, it really breaks in the sense of what black people wants to do about this out there. And I wanted to commend everyone in this event for their brilliant work here. And like I said, and Bruno said very well as well, it's not a day that we celebrate. It's a day to remember, a day to remember the role of black people here and how important black people in Brazil are. And this is all an achievement done by the black movements uh, more than 100 years after more than 100 years of abolition. The black movement still has to fight, and us living inside this black movement, we have to keep on fighting. That's what I believe in.
Importante que vocês falam, ressaltaram, né,
It's important that you guys brought to our attention that the vision that we have of ourselves is very important. Who we are is not only how the other people see us, but also how we see ourselves. So what we need with festivals like this one, it's something that's important so that we can learn more about ourselves, what we have to offer the world, um, the things that we've done, how we have been trying to put down the barriers that are there to try to block us every day, every night. Um, Even though slavery has ended officially, a few years ago, in some places 130 years ago, almost 200 years ago here in my country. But that doesn't mean that 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 mark of slavery still doesn't exist. Yesterday, in a lesson that I have in university here, everyone was talking about that sometimes things that happen, it's not evidence of racism. There's other reasons behind what happens. For example, George Floyd's action actions. Maybe there was a black woman saying that maybe it wasn't a case of racism. Maybe it was something else that resulted on that. So our reflection as black people is also very important in the conversation. So I would like to ask you guys, what is your place in this moment? You two are artists. What's your places? What are your places in the world to help in this conscience, in this reflection of our life, about our beliefs, about what we are, our religion, and everything? What are you guys doing to help, to push black consciousness forward? Maybe we can start with Edwin, talking about your art, what you do.
So I'm going to felicitate firstly him.
Pode ser depois que,
Excelente.
quando eu terminar a minha fala, então.
When I finish speaking, we can add the image. I'm going to salute Eshu, Mother Peshu, being artist is being in movement. Being black is also being in movement. And I also wanted to call attention because when we talk about black movements, we tend to unify, but we know that it's different movement, different black movements. Sometimes articulating, sometimes looking for space in different places. In my role, I aim to, through my heart, bring about some representation of Africa uh, using the orishas. For example, the images of orishas here were went through a process of wisening here. They started to using their identity, and I always try to bring that African reference to transmit what I believe, my perception about what is the code of orishas and what are the orishas. And I aim to bring that about that heart to children, to people. I participated in an event from a Quilombola school in a group of studio of Afro Brazilians in the University of Sergipe, where I had a bursary, and I had a moment. That could speak to a child in a Quilombo. I won't remember the name of the Quilombo, but I was explaining the process of diaspora through art. I started drawing the map of Africa, drawing South Africa, drawing the routes from where we were taken from uh, to get here. And in a way, this helps a lot in terms of conscious, in terms of activating this conscious. And another activity that I develop is workshops, art workshops. I talk about Ashanti culture, about the symbols, the Ashanti symbols. I did this with Periferia Ambulante, a non-governmental organization that has Barbara Oliveira like the main person. Participated. We went to schools in the outskirts, and the children were very excited. I did that connections between Africa and Brazil, and the children were very excited to learn about the symbols and the importance of the symbol, being taught the meanings of those symbols. So that my art is comes from the aesthetics, my own aesthetics, uh, and understanding my own identity, and I try to pass that on to the people who see me, and stimulate for them to find out about themselves as well.
Um, and then now we can see some of his works while he explains what these images represent, because it's very important and why they're important for
This
us.
piece is a production of a painting that I did in 2017. Uh, like I said, I'm in this process of finding my artwork. You can notice the difference in the way I draw a long time. In this artwork, I try to portray a shoe, and there's some symbols that I wanted to point out to. Uh, there's the four uh, was used that form crossroads. where a cross is formed, where a crossroads is formed, is a place where a shoe is a is a place where movement happens. It's a dynamic place. It's a place of life. Because a shoe is seen uh, wrongly as a demonic figure here. They associate here as a process of colonization process, a shoe to the devil, but issue has nothing to do with the devil. The issue is as human as I am here talking with you right now. This is a figure that brings messages, is the owner of movements. Issue in Yoruba means sphere. Is like a ball that doesn't stop, is rolling one side to the other, to the right, to the left, back and forward. Is always in movement. Eshu is really important to Kodo Forisha because he's the one who brings about communication between humans and the divine. Because he's the one who points. He's the one who has the power of virility, and he holds a phallic symbol, and it has nothing to do with the view of occidental view of a phallic. Uh, Phallic in Yoruba in African culture would be uh, the force of being. So I tried to reproduce as well the idea of that a shoe started to have hunger, and he asked his mother Yamanja for food, and she gave a idea that is chicken. Not satisfied, he he gave a cock, and then he gave cows, and then he started eating everything that there was in the universe. And this is a story, and I open something up to my own interpretation. Uh, since the shoe is a sphere, I associated the shoe to a black hole. Yeah, and we are we're in turn of that black hole, who is around that energy, and that energy turns and moves. But this is my own conception. And in the meeting of the Orishas, Ogun, who is his brother, had to had to destroy him. And Ogun, who was hunting Eshu down because he was eating everything up. And every time Ogun would cut him, he would multiply. Every time Ogun would cut him, he would multiply. And you have Eshu Odara, you have Eshu Alaketo, Eshu Bon. There are many names to designate Eshu, and uh, this is a way uh, to explain the manifestations of Eshu, and
Okay,
every
let's
manifestation that
go
he
to one more
has a
piece.
name. Uh, we must associate the instrument that is holding with trident of the devil. It has nothing to
Yeah,
do.
that was
Uh,
Sahar's.
the trident that is there, the symbol that he has there, it symbolizes the four elements: the fire, the earth, fire, water, and wind. The four elements, and also forms a crossroads. That was it. That is representation. Yeah. Are you able to put the one from Moshala?
Peraí. Sim? Vamos lá.
Okay, let's go.
Partilhou?
aqui?
Aí. Isso já
Yeah.
é 2000.
This one is from 2020, 3 years later, and in this one I bring about
Ai, como é que fala?
how do I say? I forgot the technical term. It's like stamps that form pearls, and this is a symbol of Oxalá, because the snail is of multiple genders. He is slow. He has a link to creation, and Oxalá has a link to creation. Has a link to the creation of human beings, of life itself, of the head that orientates us. And I try to bring that African aesthetic in even in wearing, because uh, there's some that bring about crowns, and it doesn't have anything to do with African aesthetics. Crown is more British. It has nothing to do with African culture, really. And I started with a new line of necklaces, and the crown has and there's 3 points that form fila, that is made of shells and form a fila. The devotees of Dudua, of the reign of Ife, use a crown that goes until the floor. Is our ancestor spirit that is called Dudua.
Thank you, everyone. Now let's go to Bruno, because Edwyn is a plastic artist. But Bruno, let's talk about your journey. How do you use your way of art to try to gain some space as a Black man in your space, in your country?
Chama o pessoal, manda descer pra ver. Filhos de Gandhi, Iansã, Iemanjá, chama Xangô, Oxóssi também, manda descer pra ver. Filhos de Gandhi, mercador, cavaleiro de Bagdá, os filhos de Obá, manda descer pra ver. Filhos de Gandhi. Gente.
Guys, I'm not a singer, but thank God, but even Carlos was laughing. But what I think is how the construction of Brazil, how Brazil was built, that concentrates in the candomblé places, complex, philosophical complex that makes us understand through the African philosophy that was changed here in Brazil, that we do art, the way we do art is not so romantic. But within that complexity, our ancestrality has made me become an artist of dance. I'm a dancer, I'm a choreographer, I'm a director, a dance teacher, now at the university, programmer, artistic director. Anything that I can do doing art with body, I do. The body is an ancestral technology. Why do I say that the body is an ancestral technology? Because if you think about the slave days here in Brazil, in the slave boats, where the slaves couldn't bring their objects, their physical objects. Sometimes not even their clothes. What did we bring? The only thing that was left was the body. So the body is our ancestral technology. Anything that we do, anything that we do in life is with our bodies. The memory is with our bodies. We produce knowledge with our bodies. We are connected with electronic gadgets. But why are we connected? Because that's actually happening in the body. This place of the body is where I become an artist and a thinker. And that I learned with my dad and with my mom. My main ideals, my main heroes in life was my parents. And what they taught me is that how me as an artist, a choreographer, I'm teaching people who am I, teaching people who we are as Black people. Not just fighting racism, but actually trying to recognize the differences that we have, but also trying to look at the places where we can be fighting really more space. And dance can also help us do this. The Black dancers. In 2008, I created a dance company called Experimentando Companhias de Danças that is only composed by Black people from the outskirts of the country here in Bahia. We created lots of with quilombos, with some neighborhoods, some big stages and big places. We started developing projects that normally only white people would do. But who came before us were also doing this. So we came in to try to be there to fight together with what other people were doing. So this is what dance gives me. I am a choreographer of Black dances, contemporary Black dances. This as a collective. You know, I'm a choreographer where everyone is Black. The designers, the choreographers, the staff, dancers, most of them have an advanced degree in many areas, in cinema, in psychology, in communications, in dance. Most of them are actually have dance degrees. And understanding that in 12 years after starting this dance company, were lots of Black artists that went through it. We understand now that the market still excludes us as production, as creators, you know, as creators in the area of dance. And that's when we created EPA, Encontro Periférico de Artes. And this event, it's nothing more, nothing less than it's nothing more, nothing less than an event to, you know, unite people, every area of art, to tell people that we are here. We are here and we do our work with quality. We demand enough money to be able to do great work, because we, as Black people, know that we are the basis of the economy. It's because of us that they dominate. It's because we are the basis of the economy. Taxes are the ones that actually pay most of the taxes. We are the ones that buy the products from white people. So in this event, we unite, connecting lots of different artists, trying to make conversation with artists, with people from Ceará, from São Paulo, with Minas Gerais, from Assunção in Paraguay, in Rio, artists from ghettos, artists from every area, from cinema, from new media, from painting, from dancing. And we've done this in 3 editions, in almost no investment. And with almost no investment, we actually managed to move Salvador city. And EPA has become an event of fight for a place of Black people. Because in the ghettos, in the outskirts, we've already done this for a long time. But we want this to be everywhere, so we can actually fight for a place, a rightful place. So we want to be respected. I want my space in society, you know. I'm not asking for it. I know I deserve it. Because why don't we take people sometimes ask, why don't we take this to the ghettos, to the outskirts? But there's no need for that, because there is already that there. We wanted to take it everywhere, because who's the people that actually built the cinemas? People actually built those places were actually us. Those places are rightfully ours. In the ghettos, we already have cultural places. We want to occupy. We want to go to a place where we are not just employees, where we are not just there to be kicked out. I want people to see our art, our Black dance, our Black art. So me, with lots of other people, with researchers, with dancers, with other artists that are choreographers as well, and with Fred Lopez, that is a physiotherapist, and an artist, with Fabricio, who's a photographer, percussionist, dancer, Claudiana, that is a choreographer and a dancer, and also now, I'm not gonna speak everyone's name, but I speak someone's names that are autonomous, that are part of EPA, that are part of this company. And this purpose that I'm here to connect young people like us to say, be careful with this government, let's this government that are there to try to stop us. Let's see a clip. You're gonna see a video that resumes EPA. Congratulations about that.
Coisa chique, né, gente? Tá
That's really cool, isn't it, guys? That's how you dance, Edwyn. That's how you dance.
Great.
But my question is, with all
Uh,
of that work that you guys do, um, is there still this image still in this image of within black people, but even worse with white people, that think that this work that we do, say that it's actually reverse racism.
and calling attention because they already told me that, and I like this demonstrates everything they don't have in terms of conscience, uh, in terms of our pain, and there's a lot of people that have access to education end up finding out about the diasporic uh, thing that the diasporic system that what happens. There's a lot of people that search for information there, and a lot of people position themselves in a way to find out about uh, this information. But there's a lot of people that live in omission that prefer. Uh, I think I'm speaking a bit fast. Tudo bem. And when we talk about
Yeah.
reverse racism, uh, normally it's white people that say that, and I say that you are a bit wrong, and please read up on this, and that. And there's a lot of people that talk to us, and they're inside the black religions, and I just say with a lot of courtesy and say look for the information and be happy.
Talking about religion, Edwin, both of you are sons. But how do you guys actually manage to do it? Um, you are the only two people that are actually sons of saints. You are within families that are actually Catholic and Protestants. But how do you guys, you know, put yourselves with
I
other
wanted
people
to
in your
add
family
something.
for being people that
Uh,
actually have
is that my
African
family, my
religion?
macro family, there's a big ring of people who have a cousin in Buenos Aires, a family in Rio, in São Paulo, in Salvador. So the family is huge. But inside the group here in my house, I'm the only person who's a devotee of Candomblé. But in my family, in macro form, there's people in Salvador, there's Bani, Fabi, Ana Paula, Paulo Rique, a lot of people that are from Mubanda, my cousin here in Sergipe, that also a devotee of Candomblé in Angola. Like I said, it's a process. I get a bit excited when, but I'll speak a bit slower.
In the name of Carlos, I thank you very much.
It was a process. Searching for my identity was a process and led me to Candomblé. And it was a process to my family as well. My closest family was able to understand what the religion, under bracket, it's more than a religion. It's a way of being and living, and so it's basically it's that nothing comes without the fights, nothing comes without the shock, nothing comes without clash. There's always that moment, and then people start to understand, start to respect. Yeah, I also wanted to say something that's really important that I didn't say in the beginning, but I think it's very important for people to understand uh, what I've been So I started in a competition with the uh, sons of the collaborators of uh, the people that built the competition, and I was able to come out as the winner in this competition. And in 2020, I participated in a competition in Edital that I had to build an artwork in regards to COVID. Uh, and we had to build the work at home. I built uh, a card, and I won, and I think it was in April, and I received news in online, in Instagram, and I received the news that I was on third place for the competition for the Detal.
Thank God that we're having this conversation this year because next year you're gonna be too important. I want to be able to talk to you. I'll be too humble
No, no way,
to
no way.
be with you, you know.
You're a queen. I'm the one who's going to feel uh, not in place.
Congratulations.
But yeah, I was on the third place in the Northeast. It was 600 people that were competing, and on the second phase, 300 went through, and 100 people were chosen. And on the Northeast, I was third. I cried, I celebrated, I jumped. That really made me happy, and I hope it makes everyone that is watching happy as well. And when one of us manages to accomplish something, I always say to my brother and my cousin, when we achieve something, we have to
Because
celebrate
it's, yeah,
together.
I agree. Because black people, we actually live in community, you know. No one actually manages to do something without help, you know.
And I also need to thank my cousin Amanda Rodriguez that talked about this competition. Had less than a week to run for this, and already had a lot of material. That was my luck, and there's a lot of material that I'm still going to make available and publish it to everyone.
E você, Bruno, how do you actually manage to 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 try to, you know, to make your family accept your religion? Because there is still these religious fights because black religion of with African descendants is still not well seen. You know, actually, there is like physical attacks of people that follow African religions. How do you deal with people, even within your own family? How do they see it?
Eu vou fazer uma
I'm
pergunta
going
para você,
to ask myself
que é
a
assim.
question that is like this.
Que eu quero saber. É o mundo negro que viemos mostrar pra você. Que bloco é esse que eu quero saber? É o mundo negro que viemos mostrar pra você. Somos crioulo doido, somos bem legal. Temos cabelo duro, somos black power. Somos crioulo doido, somos bem legal. Temos cabelo duro, somos black power. Branco, se você soubesse o valor que o preto tem, tu tomava banho de piche e ficava preto, pretinho também é. Eu não te ensino a minha malandragem, nem tampouco minha filosofia.
It's a song saying how important it is to be black. You know?
Essa música,
This song is very important in the story with the block of Afro Alele, who's one of the main artists here in Bahia. It talks about what's this block? What is this block? There's this blog.
Peraí, tadinho, ô besta, meu filho, respira.
É Roberto, né?
Yes.
Desculpa,
Pro-
Roberto.
pro-
Carlos aqui já tá dando risada. Agora é a vez de Roberto.
Você tá vendo? Roberto nem consegue sorrir. Nem
Roberto, vou tentar.
Relax, Robert. I'm going to start again.
Então,
Okay.
a questão religiosa, ela não é só
This religious aspect is not only religious. We're going to go back to racism.
O candomblé,
Candomblé, it is part of a structure of
é uma
racism.
parte desse comando.
It's a part of this structure, you know. When me as a black person, me as a bisexual, me as an artist,
Margem da sociedade,
everything that is outside society is together. So this religious factor is only one more. And if I recognize racism, I try to, me with my family, try to bring other relations, you know, talk to my dad, what's racism, talk to him with my mother, with my nephews, you know, that dance with me, with my family. Always try to bring the dialogue, you know? I think that's a process very important because candomblé is not a religion. Candomblé is a cultural, philosophical system. Lots of thinkers actually say that as well. Because when we talk about as a religion, we actually put it down. We don't put it down as faith, but we put it down as you know, as part of the fight, you know, because the other religions have always dominated. So candomblé is a way of life. It teaches us how to teach, how to pray, how to dance, how to build, how to organize ourselves structurally. So I believe in that. And the perspective, the religion perspective, teaches me how to deal with this and recognize that it's not, they don't like accept a religion. They are racist. And it has a name. It's a religion racism. But in relation with my black parents, they reproduce what the system, the racist system, actually reproduces, what tells them to reproduce. Until the other day, I was someone that reproduced as well. So it's a process to try to re-educate my family, everyone that's around me. You know? So from noticing that we have so much power, comes about that idea of inverted racism. But that is only just a way of racism. It has nothing to do with the race of any other culture. It's all about dominating. It's about an ethnic group dominating another through race. So the people that believe in inverted racism should fight their fight. White people that actually tortured people, it's for you that I'm talking. You should fight. You should fight for what you believe. But I'm ashamed of people like that. It's an ancestry of genocide. In this sense, I look at my parents that are black and try to dialogue and try to debate with them. That guys, I'm from Candomblé. I'm from this religion. It's a philosophical ideal. It's a place where I try to learn about myself. You know? Shango is a place of justice. is a god of power, a god of thunder. So I try to bring this idea with my parents. I start to teach them because the Catholic characters are we already know about. So I try to teach them who is my Orisha. So I educate them, you know. Eshu is the TV you're watching. Eshu is the mailman. Eshu is the journalist that is in the TV news. That the devil is the people that tortures. Is not a shoe, you know. So it's my religion that gives me strength to fight for justice. I'm looking to learn about the how I can fight with my religious ideals, you know, especially with art. I believe that it's a way of resisting, a way of confronting, because with religion, with this cultural place, it's where I can learn about myself. And it's because of that, Bruno, that we need to work with tolerance. Because tolerance is to try to understand. It's that not all of us are equal, you know. Sometimes some people will take a bit longer to reach our place, you know. Even though they can't understand it so much, they try to comprehend, you know.
Since Bruno has brought the ways he uses to fight against racism and religious racism, I also wanted to share my experience. No, I won't sing. No, I'm part of a samba group, but I'm not singing today. No.
Pai
Canta,
com
Duan.
cavaquinho, vem lá, canta, canta, canta.
Sim.
I won't. You got me by surprise. I can sing at the end.
Yeah, you can sing, of course.
At the end, I'll sing because I'll have time to what I'll sing. But uh, so the search for my identity that brought me to the candomblé and the search for my identity was a fruit of a relationship that I have with my dad. He is a person that does samba and very prominent here. And in 2003, I was talking to my dad and getting to know about candomblé, and in that year went inside candomblé. I and I participated in a ritual that is called Bori, that is for the head, to worship the head, to uh, do good choices, to centralize ourselves, and bring about equilibrium and balance. And through OB, a seed that is used in Africa, that we have as a sacred seed, uh, he uh, he consulted uh, and he said what was the message that was there, and he was asking, and the ancestrality confirmed uh, that there was someone who was from a shed that in my family, and Oshagian was calling my attention. And I was thinking, who was from Candomblé in my family? Because until now, in my more intimate day to day, I only had my cousin, but no one else in my family, and this started to uh, make me curious, and I started to look. Uh, my dad is here. Thank you so much for being here. And this had me looking for my ancestrality, talking to my aunts, my cousins. We started to build a tree, but it was a really small tree. Until I met Rosalina Santos, my third degree cousin. She is 96. She is retired. Uh, and she talked about our ancestral tree, about what her mother had told, and about people she never met and her family. And we went up until our grand mother and and my grand father in my mother's side. He was called Crescencio. He was enslaved in the Engenho of Credora, and my grandmother was also enslaved in the Engenho of, and he was raised in Engenho, called Simiana Maria do Sacramento, and she gained her freedom in 88 probably, 1888, and this is turning into research. I'm going to start looking for documents and start looking for it. And I found out that uh, my grand that was a part of a cultural group here, that his brother also took part, that this artistic man, uh, sense is also is already in our family, that that the mother of my grandfather uh, lived almost until she was 100. I was able to get to find photos and make it digital, and I was able to find documentation that was already digital through time research. I was a baptism documentation from um, 1883, from 1882. When I presented that to my family, to this generation, this Protestant generation, it was a great shock. I remember when I told my aunt that the mom for my granddad she had been enslaved. She cried. It didn't go through her head that someone that would be so close could have been enslaved at a point in time. It was a shock, and um, and as as long as and while the family of a white person was the owner, let me reformulate that. I lost my thought. Well, the colonel had a grandson, and this grandson was was a judge. He was a political figure who had access to education. My granddad worked as a carpenter. My dad had access to education, but he had to work his whole life. Uh, and from my mother, in this line of my mother's side, I'm the first person to go into university and graduate, and this is something very symbolic. And I'm very proud of my family, and that's it. That's what I try to show. I try to find all those findings that I found out about myself, and this was through my contact with Candomblé, because I didn't receive, if I hadn't receive that information from the game, the divinatory game, then probably I wouldn't find it the exact way as I found it, but maybe I would find it in a different way, uh, because ancestrality works in different ways. Probably maybe I would find it through my mother. For example, my aunt Rosalina found information through her mother, through her grandmother, and ended up reaching me. And that's what I had to share. Candomblé is really important. That's what I had to show here. And all this research uh, led me to these findings, and my family started respecting me. I was able to convert them.
That will always happen, yeah. But talking about resistance, one of the sub themes of the festival is restitution and resistance. Um, and we've been talking about this uh, for almost 1.5 hours. We're almost there. But I'd like to stop. Um, and now, in the final moments of the conversation, and to talk to you guys about this topic of resistance and restitution. What are for you guys the path that we need to take to reach the moment of restitution, the moment of healing? What can we have to do? What we need to do? What can we do a bit better to reach a bit faster to that conclusion? Bruno?
Olha, eu não tenho,
Look, I don't have that answer,
mas eu tenho algumas
but
sugestões.
I have
A
some
primeira
thoughts. The first one
é
about
conhecer
this
seus
white movement.
privilégios
People
e
need
descobrir
to
o que você
recognize
pode
their privileges and try to give us
Eu
back
às
what
vezes trago
is offered.
palavras duras assim, mas
Sometimes I
não
speak
sei o outro
in a
assim,
harsh
eu
way,
consigo
but
ser
I
bem
can't
assim
be
mais
different, you
presente,
know.
parece que
Uh,
você
uh,
pode ver
People think
que
like,
no
oh, he's
Brasil
so serious. Look at his
é
tone of
diferente, assim,
voice.
a
But
branquitude
look,
que tortura a gente,
the
que nos dá esses
white, the
privilégios,
white supremacy, like the white movement, they need to
racismo é um
recognize
problema deles, eles
because racism is
inviabilizam
something that was
você
created by them.
lutar
So it's something that has to be brought down by
A
them.
outra coisa é que a gente vem
The
fazendo
other thing is something that
cada
we've
período da
already been
história a
doing.
gente vem fazendo.
Every
O que as
period of
nossas
history
mães,
we've been
os
doing.
nossos pais
What our
historicamente
parents have
né?
been
A
doing.
avó dele já
The
estava
story of
fazendo,
Edwyn,
já estava fazendo
even
isso.
his grandmother was already
A gente já
fighting
está
against
fazendo, o
racism.
festival já está
We've
fazendo.
already been doing like things like
Né?
the
A gente não
festival.
está dizendo que a gente está fazendo vai
He's
resolver
already
todos
been
os
doing.
problemas.
We're not saying that
Mas a gente já está
what we're
fazendo
doing
para
will actually
incluir essa
solve,
história toda.
but we are moving to try
A
to
gente
get there.
dança.
But we
Toda
dance.
cultura tem dança.
Every culture
E as
has
culturas
dance.
pretas
And the black culture
se reúne para dançar,
unite
que é onde a
to
gente vai
dance,
digerir
because it's where we
uma
try
raiz
to
humana, que é o sofrimento.
to break down what is suffering.
E é com uma arte.
And it's with art.
A busca da gente é trazer para os nossos
Our
pares
search is try to bring to our partners to recognize power. Because on the day that us black people, recognize ourselves with like people with power, it's over. It is over.
Assim como a gente luta por futebol no Brasil,
The way we Brazilians fight for football, for soccer, we can also take away, we can bring down governance, presidents, especially the president. You guys can speak. I can't speak, you know, because if I speak, they won't let me come into Brazil again. So if anyone talks, they say it was Bruno, wasn't me. We need to recognize our powers. We need to understand our story. This festival, everything is it's to try to tell our partners that it's possible. It's possible for us to recognize our story. They're trying to delete, they're trying to suppress our story. Just need to recognize. So we need to talk to people close to us, people that are close to us. We need to talk to those people that are actually reproducing racism. That's the strongest way of fighting, you know. We fight, but it's not everyone that fights. I believe that Candomblé also helps us, teaches how to fight. I'm a son of Shango. Shango is an axe, it's an element. Ogun has a sword. Yassan has a Yeroshin. It's a tail that makes wind. Oshosia has a bow and arrow. Shun has a bear, who's a mirror. Oxalá has a cajado. If we understand that each one of us is an Orisha, and we can fight from our place, we can make a shire, which is a revolution. You understand? With our own circle of influence, we can make everything that's necessary. Yes, that's it. We need to fight. We need to go forward. But not everyone is prepared to go forward. For example, Salvador Almeida, Sueli Carneiro, are intellectuals, are building concepts, intellectual concepts in the academy. My dad only went to the 4th grade. My mom only knows how to write her name, but they're educating us. That's their fight, you know. We are here, you in the festival, making this connection, making this happen. The fight of Roberto, the fight of Carlos. So if everyone around us that is Black, even the people that don't recognize themselves as Black, actually come and get this consciousness that they're Black and they have power, it's over. We'll have power. We'll reach there. It's possible. It is possible. But we need to tell. It is not romanticized. It is not talking patiently to those ones that tortured us, that will make it better. Because the pain hurts. But we can dust that pain. So I believe that's a way we, young people, you know, when we go to university, go to university. You want to go to university? Don't go to university. Do what you want to do. If you want to learn, if you want to get your degree wherever you want to, go and do it. Go and educate your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your parents, your grandparents. Try to educate them about what it means to be Black. It's complex, it's difficult, but it's possible. The more people, Black people, are empowered, the better. That's my objective in the university. Because they've been coming in Black people in universities, and I need to tell them like this. You know, even white people don't understand their concepts. They study Foucault for centuries and they don't even understand them. So I need to be in this place. Edwyn, when we will be there doing his work, Black people need to understand his art, you know. But we're talking, there's Picasso, but we're talking about Edwyn. But you can look at Picasso. I'm not against Picasso. But we have Edwyn, a Black artist. You have to give value to Black artists like you, just as much as white artists, or even more. Everyone has their way, you know. You need to look at people like you and look at you as a diva, because you're beautiful. You're really beautiful. You need to recognize yourselves. It's close. It's like we're family. Seems like we know each other for a long time. This, me respecting you, respecting Edwyn, just here in my screen, I can see 5. Look how important translation is for Black people. So I end my conversation here today that we need to believe in our dreams, but don't romanticize. Don't make them romanticize. Some go to war and some work within the war. We need to go there and empower the people that are going to war. Some do the drums to empower people that are going to war. So Candomblé teaches this, not as a religion. It teaches this as a way of living. I like to leave my thanks. Today is Friday, Day of Oxalá, and I'd like to thank Carlos of your work, of your. I would like to thank also Roberta, that is smiling because I speak really fast, and you. I'd also like to thank you. You that you're a queen. I'm going to call you a queen because you are very fancy. And Edwyn, I'd like to thank Edwyn. I'd like to work with you. And the way we can fight racism is to unite together.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much. Edwyn, to finalize, you have 1 minute.
All right. We have to have as a basis the return to our roots, and through our roots, that's where we get the impulse to build a future, to build our present and our future, and to know that our fight doesn't start here. The work I've been building here didn't start here. This has been developed by my cousin Roberto when he starts bringing people together, and we need to organize each other, having as a basis our roots. Look for your roots, and I say, we are the dreams of our ancestors. We are going to make those dreams happen. It's going to happen. Thank you for the opportunity, for the exchange, for the opportunity to get to know you. It's like family here. It's impressive. I want to thank you so much for being in this space, in this conversation. Bruno, Carlos, Roberta.
I'd like to thank you guys a lot for the talk. It was great to be here with you guys.
Muito bom trabalho, vocês dois.
Great work you guys have, you know. Continue fighting, doing your work, and we're going to keep on communicating with yourself. It was great meeting you, and I wouldn't leave you guys ever. You know? I'm going to pass things over to Erica so she concludes everything and prepare ourselves for the next one. And in 15 minutes, we're going to have another talk. I would like to give you kisses to you guys.
Obrigada, Edwyn and Bruno, Carlos, Roberto. Heather, thank you for that brilliant conversation, for helping us to really commemorate this Black Consciousness Day. We continue with 2 more conversations before we end our commemoration today. At 4, we're talking about fostering Black identity in spaces of learning. That conversation would be led by Dr. Brent Maximin. And at 7, we have our conversation with giants, led by Mr. Llewellyn McIntosh, and our panelists for that discussion, Dr. Merle Hodge, Brother Kafra Cambon, and Alan Haywood, talking about Black consciousness in the Caribbean, revolution, and writing. Thank you so much. Obrigada. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.